Good morning. Welcome to Investigator News, and I'm Ellie and Karen. You and Mary's going to be throwing popcorn at me today. Um, we have been having nothing but problems with YouTube this morning. Didn't want to connect us, and so we did have a weather report this morning. It was live, and if you didn't catch it, uh, I went ahead and got it posted. I had to pull some strings, but I got it posted. And of course, we are now live with YouTube on here. Um, I don't know for how long. They might hit me with an error, but it's okay. Well, where else can you find it here? And I've been moving things over to Rumble. It just takes a day to uh, upload to Rumble. So today I'm going to try to get some things on there. I'm also going to vote today. If you didn't know and didn't hear about it all over the news already, we are, let's see, it's Arkansas, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, I believe, and a few other states. Of course, I'm going to give my private info and say I'm voting for Sarah Sanders today. Are we allowed to do that, Mary? Are we allowed to say who we're voting for on election day? Winches, yes, I know. Um, Mary, it hit me with an error for you guys. So I'm not sure. And then it hit me with an error and wouldn't let me go live with my weather. Uh, and on the weather today, I gave it's called P waves, and every day I'm going to try to give a little bit of info on some stuff on weather and earthquakes and hurricanes. And this morning it was on animals, how your animals feel P waves right before an earthquake hits. So go on over and check it out after the show. Uh, yeah, I don't know anymore either. Are they messing with others that you're um, moderator for, or is it just me? Boy, I tell you, I'm gonna. I don't know. I don't even know who to grab and strangle. Um, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. They have changed a lot of the community standards at YouTube, and they have got me just tied down with YouTube. They took it away, then they said I was banned, then they said no, I wasn't banned. Then they said community standards, no, I don't have none. And then they said my page is good, and then they didn't allow me to get on. Oh boy. So I'm going to see if I can get this fixed. And if not, I'll be calling you girls today to make sure I get this right. So we got you set up. Um, okay, lots of YouTubers having big problems. Yeah. Okay. And it's just not me. They're not just picking on Ellie. It's all right. I can handle them. I'm just, I'm all ready. I'm ready for them. I'm ready for them today. So, uh, I got all kinds of things going on with me today, and then tomorrow we have two shows. We have we had the Asian Indo Summit and Joe Biden's first trip to Asia as president. That was supposed to focus on things like economic framework, and the trip ended just hours ago, and I believe he's back in Washington. And so they asked him quite a few questions towards Taiwan. They were all like, and he blamed it on all of the U.S. press. But okay, this is what they asked. Mr. President, is the policy of strategic ambiguity towards Taiwan dead? Could you explain? And he answered quick and with, yeah, if you didn't listen to him, no. Wow. I have never known an American president's been so rude. And then, Mr. President, would you send troops to Taiwan? Our policy has not changed at all. And I stated that when I made my statement, uh, all I stated that when I made my statement after the White House was forced to walk back on Monday, he basically he is saying he's standing on I took it as sending in troops. Well, then the White House walked back on it Mondays, and military intervention leaving defense Secretary Austin to do a cleanup job at the Pentagon. One China policy has not changed. Reiterated that our policy and our commitment to peace and stability across Ukraine's straits. It's not the first time the White House has had to clarify Biden's standard towards Taiwan. And also he's gaining criticism from China. Um, I don't know how he's going to deal with China because he keeps flip-flopping back and forth. And we've seen this as we went into the Ukraine war. It was going back and forth, back and forth. And then we found out they were just going to watch after we were under the impression that we were going to go in and fight for Ukraine, but we didn't. Um, you know, we are feeling record high gas prices. Um, and not only that, this was something that kept being brought up to him is what about your economic issues? And he just didn't want to answer it. And he did. And if you guys notice, he had a sarcastic tone. Um, and India and Russia are very, very close uh, to a traditional relationship that goes back to the Cold War. Um, and Americans don't really focus on what's going on there. Um, when we uh, did Afghanistan last year, it really hurt um, America, and India really had second thoughts on us. And New Delhi, because New Delhi was a strong supporter of Afghan government, and it means now it's looking pro-Russian elements in New Delhi, and we become more influential recently with not only India but trying to work issues out with New Delhi. And you know who went over there was Pompeo, and it was after Biden and all of them had left. And they say that they are really worried that all of their dealings are going to result in the failure, um, not only the policy in Central Asia, but with India. And they say that they're leaning towards Russia because it seems like a more stable government. Something else that happened yesterday was the U.S. to get involved in China and the stance that he took. And um, basically, we're hearing that it's amateur hour or kids are loose at the White House at this point. This is what the world is saying about us. Now it's you, we laugh at Biden, but now and we've had the world laugh at us, but now the world is saying that they're very immature that's in the White House, and there are teeny boppers that are loose controlling the White House at this point. Uh, that is so sad. That is so sad for us. We should be known as one of the strongest nations in the world, and we're being uh, just pushed to be in what kids in the White House. Sometimes I wonder if AOC's having slumber parties there with all of her Green New Deal. Um, so, you know what else is going on this week that not many are saying much of because they don't want you to watch it, folks, and that's Davos. Um, and if you guys can watch any of it, please do. And I'll get into that a little bit. Uh, but Davos is going on, and it's very long, very boring. Um, um, so what we're looking at is um, Klaus Schwab being a big thumb on our country and saying that let's do the reset, let's do the new Green Deal. And, of course, we have AOC and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. They're all backing this. And I think that will be the downfall at the 2024 election. All right, so war in Ukraine, I want to get to. After taking the second largest city of Mariupol, Russia is now targeting um, one of the one of the other cities, the Donetsk region and Donbass. And we found that several tanks carrying Russian-backed forces are painted with the letters Z, and that's to symbol heavy association with the Russian military since February 24th. In the invasion of Ukraine, the Russian forces are trying to break through the defenses, and it's thought that the Russians are trying to reach the administrative borders of Luhansk region. Meanwhile, they're working on their defenses in forest areas of Donbass, and soldiers are loading ammunition into self-driving howitzers. They have tanks hidden under camouflage nets, javelin anti-tank weapons at their disposal, as well as underground bunkers. The Russian Defense Ministry has released quite a few videos that are they're looking at self-propelled guns in action. Uh, this is I could just see all these um, military guys with these remote controls just playing. Um, I don't know. That's what I get in my head. But actually, they're sitting in a room behind a keyboard. But to me, it reminds me of the days when I did remote control cars with my kids. And we didn't have an airplane. We had a boat for a while. But, standing out there racing and watching the airplanes at the same time that we're out there at the field. And, so that's kind of, I see these self-propelled guns in action and weapons and that are by remote control, basically. So don't think they're out in the field with the little handheld things. No, they're in a closed up center on their computers. So, and these weapons, have destroyed a unit of U.S. howitzers, but the location of the video is kept undisclosed. And why? Because YouTube doesn't want anybody to see what's going on over there. We've been snipped on what we're getting from our reporters on the ground over there. Meanwhile, in the Russian-controlled city of Mariupol, Russian soldiers have started deeming the self-style steel plant um, uh, mines. Basically, there have been controlled explosions and debris that are being cleared using military bulldozers. Many of the buildings are charred and partially collapsed following Russia's intense campaign of the Mariupolian, it says, attacks. Um, now, now get this. Australia had, well, let me see if there's anybody over there in chat. We got Linda over there in chat and live shows on Rumble. I have been just moving these shows over to Rumble because you got to keep Rumble. I could do a live show in Rumble and then I could do a live show on YouTube. For some reason, there's a conflict between the two or the three when I do Facebook also. But I am trying to move them over, and eventually, as I get things squared away here in my household, I'll start doing a Rumble show. It'll more than likely be my corruption files, and then I'll just move it over. Or, because I hate to do two shows, the same thing, but, to me, it seems like I should do something else. So anyway, what is the name of the show on Rumble? It is Investigator News 1. It's running at the bottom, right there. We're on Rumble, Investigator News 1. So that's where we're at. And it's really all the shows I've moved over. But keep it in mind, because once we get going again really well and we get stupid YouTube fixed, we're going to start doing some shows over there. I'm all paid up and ready to go. Boy, all this paying up, Yeah, people don't realize you got to pay for Rumble if you want to be live. And not only that, you got same way with the stream I have here. Um, in order for me to do a really good show, I got to pay for not YouTube, it's through StreamYard. And so I put out quite a bit of money for doing shows, but it's all right. It's all right. I enjoy doing it for you guys. So um, let me keep going on this. But so Australia, and nearly a year-long freeze of diplomatic contact between China and Australia. China seems to be now easing ties with Australia, and Beijing has sent. Why? Because now Beijing is sending over a handshake because of the newly elected Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, and he has views that basically working more with China than the other candidate did. Um, so they do have a base over there in Australia, and more we're seeing them kind of buying up a lot of the mines for the resources of different gems. If you guys ever watch the guys that dig over in Australia for Australian gold or gems, you'll see now that China is entered the picture. And, I was like, oh my gosh, I heard about that. And there they are on one of the shows. So, um, they did have clashes, and including a lot uh, of Australia wanting to pull away from China and basically move them out of the country. But it looks like this guy might be eager enough to keep China and their base there in a port. They do have a port there. We have all of the Indo-Pacific tensions that's going on right now. And the Indo-Pacific meeting they had over there with um, um, Biden, it just seemed like Japan was the one that stepped forward and said, you know what, we got this, we got this. And I was very surprised because you don't usually see Japan being aggressive as much. Well, they did in World War II um, with Pearl Harbor and that, but they have been pretty passive with China over the decades. And so now we're seeing a new Japan that's saying, you know what, we got this, we got this. And they are doing more exercise, more drills um, than ever right now. And even more than the United States is doing over there. And get this, they get to practice on Chinese land and territory to where they're getting a really good idea of how to combat China. Um, yeah, I'm going to try to keep this one, fight hard to keep this platform here, um, because I think it'll work out really well with the weather and the news, and then also having Rumble as a once a week show that I could do there. Boy, I got a good one coming up for you guys this week. Um, and I keep putting Hillary on the back burner, but you know what? With everything going on in Davos, I have went and uh, have been looking at a lot of data that 50 scientists have put forth. And they have been shunned from Davos this week, and they won't even consider the data or the intel that they have for Davos or even climate change. And of course, that little ugly girl is going to be there. And you know what? She's already turning on these climate people because it's all about politics and money, and she wants to save the trees. Well, there's hardly any trees left to save. They're all uh, it's really odd to see a tree when it's dying, but when does a tree become gray? Have any of you seen that? where the trees are gray. They're not just brown and dying, they're gray. And that's really odd. And I'm looking into that. I'm a big tree hugger. So, oh, and I want to, in case you missed it, belated, but um, the best happy birthday wishes to Miss Mary, our moderator. Um, I said happy birthday to you last night, and I said round the table you must go so you can spank somebody. Um, uh, and I think I said you were 29 years old, Mary. So a very, very happy birthday to Miss Mary. And I hope you had a great one and ate lots of cake. If not, go back and eat 2 pieces for me. And I hope it was chocolate. So lots of ice cream. Yeah. But no, my favorite cake is spice cake with buttercream frosting. That's what I get for my birthday. But everybody else's birthday's got to be chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. Oh, speaking of pet stories, well, here we go. My daughter, for her birthday, when she was a teenager, she said, Mama, I want a chocolate cake. She wanted chocolate chips inside the cake. And then she wanted chocolate frosting with Three Musketeers and Milky Ways and chocolate chips and white chocolate chips on top of the cake. You talk about rich. Well, they wanted it down on the table, on the coffee table, and they all sang happy birthday. And I wasn't really paying attention. I was outside. And I seen them all come running out. And I said, Did you guys put the cake up? No, no. And when I went in there, the dog had half of it. And I tell you what, the dog had a bellyache for 3 days. Oh, and he ate half the cake. I don't know how he managed to do it, but he ate half the cake. And dogs aren't supposed to have chocolate. And I figured, oh my God, I've killed the dog. Or the kids killed the dog. No, he was fine. He was fine. So, uh, again, happy birthday, Miss Mary. All right, I'm going to move on with more news. I wouldn't have known if she wouldn't have told me, and I'm glad she told me. I don't write birthdays down, so you guys got to remind me. So the baby formula shortage. Now we're seeing it was Mississippi and I believe Georgia now. Um, New York City Mayor Eric Adams has now declared a state of emergency, and he also signed an emergency executive order like these other that they are out of baby formula. The little bit that we're getting, folks, I don't think is going to be enough. And they're going to have, get this, they're going to have a resolution hearing. Boy, I hate them things. If you don't know, when they do resolution hearings, they bring them all in, they listen to them, and whether they vote on it, they just like leave it over in limbo until they decide they want to vote on it or not. So really, it's just a whole bunch of listening to what the Democrats want you to listen to. So they're doing a hearing this week with the manufacturers. You know what? Get them back. Get them producing some baby formula. Quit messing with them in Washington. Oh my God. I seen that and I thought, really? Who ordered this one for them to go to Washington? Why? So they could be told they're the problem? With this administration blaming everybody for what they do wrong. And this, to me, is what they're going to do. They're going to go over, they're going to bring them in, they're going to make them look like they're at fault, and then blame the manufacturers and say, oh, it's not the Biden administration that did it, it was them. Well, actually, it was the inspectors. The way it goes is they had some issues and they had a recall. Instead of pulling what was needed off the shelf, they pulled it all. And then when they realized what they'd done, then they had to shut the plant down, re-clean it, and then try to go back into production. But unfortunately, when you clean it and you're shut down, you have to have the inspectors, the state and federal and local, come in and give you the okay so you can reopen. Well, I believe it was the state and the feds. The state went in and they were all ready to go ahead and move this forward, but they were waiting on federal, um, uh, for the feds to come in and inspect. Well, they put them off. And then they put them off again. And I believe it was a third time they put them off. And then now we have baby formula issues. So if the feds would have went in, and I blame this on the FDA and quite a few others, because they should have went in and they should have done this right away. They knew that there was a shortage when they had to close the plants down due to this formula recall. So, all right. So the they're going to have a hearing. Oh boy, and and so at this point, it's just going to, they said at least 5 other states could be looking at no formula for the whole state within days. And even, I was surprised that Eric Adams even signed this executive order, and he said that the shortage has parents struggling to find ways to feed their babies. And they're driving out of state. They're driving hundreds of miles just to be able to find it. And they're even claiming that in these states, that even at WIC or the food banks and other organizations that are run by the county or the state, they're out too. And so this is very concerning. And, if this is Biden's way of capitalizing on a crisis to make it look like he's a hero, don't do the babies like this. So Davos now, folks. Oh boy. And a lot of it there is on climate change, but they're doing other things. They're discussing new pandemics this time. And usually they don't do this. If you guys see them talking about it, and when you watch it, normally they don't do diseases. They only usually do world, one world order, world economics, and the Green New Deal. And that's where the little ugly girl keeps coming in and she's scary, and she's back. She's back. She's older. She's louder. And I don't think she likes that they're not pushing this Green New Deal a little bit faster. Why? Why do we need that when we don't even have enough electric chargers in the United States to be able to do what they need to? The other thing, talking about these cars, they might have to recall Teslas because they keep catching on fires. Now I don't want to just put all the blame on Tesla, because these other ones are doing it too. That just hasn't come out. Tesla so far has been the most. It's not the car, it's the battery. The batteries are overheating and catching the cars on fire. So it is not a Tesla recall on the car itself. So yeah, oh boy, I tell you, I can almost, if I put up 3 or 4 screens and put what's going on in this world that Biden has done, I'd be spinning in my chair all day long. It's just one thing after another, folks, and it's out to destroy our country. Now, I haven't. Have anybody seen anything that Biden has put in place that they like? I mean, I'm even asking Democrats this now. When I go out and about and I say, what do you think of the Biden administration? And Democrats are saying he needs to go. The problem is, who are they going to pick? And Democrats, hardcore Democrats, will always vote for Democrats. There's no change in their minds. They've done this forever. And will it bring back bring the Democrats back onto this person that decides to run? And who will it be? We just don't know. I'm just thinking for the GOP, it's it's the plan, not the man. It's the plan the GOP has to take the country back, and that they get rid of all of the players um, that they had before, because they brought them all back in from Obama, and this so concerns me, you guys, that anybody, whether it's Cruz or Trump or Pompeo, they get in there and they are dealing with a hostile White House, a hostile administration that will do everything they can to bring them down. And until we clean house, um, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard for any president to get in there and start fixing things. I say just pile up. Remember, Susan, pile up about 100 executive orders and just stop it all, and then kick all the illegals out. So, boy, I got a story on that one. Um, so we have Davos going on, and if you guys can put up with how boring it is, go listen to Klaus Schwab, because I heard he is more scary this time at Davos than he has ever been in the past. And he's the one calling for the reset, the one world order, the Green New Deal, oil to be taken out. And he's mad that these countries haven't done away with fossil fuels. And he is the one having a fit. And I even reported last week that his right hand guy was from the UN was having a meltdown over this. Um, is it on national television? No, no. You're going to have to find it on YouTube under Davos or World Economic. Um, yeah, or World Economics. Um, and the last time, they were really creepy because they all got up and just said how they were going to end the whole world and then build back better. There you go. Yeah, they all used it. Build back better. Boy, isn't that scary? So the Biden administration wasn't really that original when at least 5 other countries are using that slogan for their own countries. Yeah, we're going to take you down, we're going to hurt you, and then we're going to build back better. Oh my goodness. And they're scary. They're really, really scary. Now, with this Quad summit, this is Indo-Pacific, with the leaders, they are really moving together, and this would be the first time. They really don't want China there, but it's Asia. But they have been. What I'm hearing is they are getting together, and they are really supporting one another on what China could possibly do in the next few years. But they are saying the next few months. Not only that, but Indian Prime Minister Modi um, is basically has been very, very welcomed by the Prime Minister Kishida in Japan. And he said he's never felt so welcomed by other countries. And with any of these summits, he said, except for Trump, that all the other times that they have gotten together for these meetings, there has always been where they're not free to talk. And now they feel free with Japan stepping forward and Biden stepping back, that they are now able to discuss what would be best for Indo-Pacific, and without China, without the United States. And boy, for this being on the world stage, this is very disheartening for the United States. China, we really don't care about, but we are looking at all of them now looking that China is going country to country to country, trying to get bases on their countries. And this is what they're exchanging. And you get this, a lot of these world leaders didn't even know China was doing that. They were really surprised. And I was listening to them and hearing how the plans to go forward with this. And then one by one, they were all saying, well, yeah, we've got a base here. We got a base there. Yeah, we got a base on our country. And oh, yeah, Jinping is putting a thumb on us. And not only that, their concerns is North Korea. Um, and he's for such a little guy, he sure is a big loose cannon. Um, so the biggest things that they were talking about is diseases and this new monkeypox and how they are going to move forward with World Health Organization. Uh, and I just shake my head over that with what's going on with our own country. But they are now having to deal with what the World Health Organization is going to say about this. Yeah, is there more? Um, is this going to turn into something big, or are we going to do like Africa and say, "Come on, guys, it's not that bad. We can we can get through this, and we can stop it. We can quarantine the people that got it." And get this, unless it's kind of like what's that disease? Um, well, chicken pox and measles you can't really catch, but you know how they seep? One or the other seeps. That's kind of what it's like impetigo. There you go. If you haven't heard about it, it's sores and they leak. And if you rub on people, it's not that you breathe and you're giving monkeypox. This is what CDC lady told me. It's more you would have close, like you hug or kiss somebody. That would be how it would be transmitted. So, so everybody don't freak out just yet. So this is the other thing they were talking about. And they're also talking about it at Davos too. So this is a big concern right now is are they going to have to lock their own countries down again for this new disease? Um, I'm like way behind on my notes here. Um, the UN China, the UN is in China, guess what? And they're doing a human rights, um, um, no, I don't want to say a check, investigation. There you go. They're doing a human rights investigation. And the chief, her name is Bachelet. She began her 6-day visit in the country and stirring fears over the access and propaganda that's been going on over there. And not only that, but the widespread abuse of Muslim minorities in the Xinjiang province. So this would be the Uyghurs. And it's about time they went over there. How many years have we been complaining that China has been abusing the Uyghurs? Um, and they said they want to clear up any misinformation on the issues of what's going on with China, and not only that, but what the um, foreign ministry said. China hopes that this trip will help enhance understanding on cooperation and clarify misinformation that Beijing has been putting out there, safeguarding the ethnic minorities' rights and an important part to its work, and protecting the people's safety. Its long-term goal to advance international cause of human rights. We we must first refrain from politicizing, using propaganda to make human rights look bad. So you could see China spinning their little web and basically saying, oh, nothing's going on here. Nothing's going on here. I reported on this one earlier. It's really odd that Iraq keeps getting these sandstorms. This is the ninth, another one hit last few days. It's the ninth sandstorm that hit Iraq since mid-April. It's like it almost hits and then it like swings back around to come for another time. Um, I don't know what, besides Babylon being in Iraq, it's like uh, God is like punishing Iraq. Um, it's fueled by very dry air and uh, partially a drought, and so this is what's been caused it. And now they're locking down everyone once again, and they say people are having breathing difficulties. They want them to stay out of it. It's causing eye issues, throat issues, breathing difficulties, especially for kids. And so they're saying if you don't need to get out, then stay home. Don't get in this orange, weird looking glow of a sandstorm. I knew about them, learned about them basically because Arizona got one time, and I was just in awe over it. Um, so now that it's just plaguing Iraq, because I'm not hearing anywhere else that they're getting this. All right, so now the federal government is not looking just at Bezos, but it's looking at Elon Musk, that they must put $6 billion into a foundation so it can help um, starving people, and not only in Ukraine, but here. And if not, then they're not helping a brother out, is what they said. There's more than um, two mega billionaires out there, and there's dozens and dozens of other billions out there that are worth 50 to $75 billion. Oh, you should see what Bill Gates is worth. Why isn't Bill Gates giving? I haven't heard nothing on him coming forward saying, hey, I'm worried about the American people. I'm going to give you all billions of dollars. No, they're all pointing at Elon Musk, saying he needs to do this. Um, but in a real serious view of this, we do need some of them to start helping out. We can't just depend on foundations or federal grants to be able to feed the people, because all the economists, I'm sorry, um, have mentioned that this is now the start of the recession. So it came sooner, just like I told you guys last week that I thought we were either in it or it was fixing to start, and it would be way before they had even claimed it would be. They said the end of the year. But now the economists are now saying, like Kudlow and a few others, uh, that it's now in effect, and we're going to start feeling the pang. Uh, so keep prepping, keep putting groceries away, buy groceries if you see it on sale. Check out the clearance racks for things. It don't mean just because it's on a clearance rack, don't mean it's expired. Sometimes it's a dent in the can. Perfectly, it's fine. Everything inside the can is good. It's just a dented can. Um, we got to do everything we can to be able to make it through this. And prepping is a good uh, idea, and it's a good choice. Get those gardens put in, and only folks only plant what you like. Um, I have had so many neighbors and so many friends that plant stuff, and they say, we got all this eggplant, we got all these jalapenos, and here, have some. And I'm like, I don't eat eggplant, and I don't do jalapenos. And they're stuck with this stuff. Don't feel you got to plant everything in the vegetable book. Plant what you're going to eat or what you're going to can or dehydrate, so that you eat it and you're not just wasting it. And some neighbors don't like eggplant. Some don't like broccoli, or, so plant only what you and your family will eat, or go next door and say, hey, what is it that you like, in case I grow too much of it. And maybe they'll give you an idea. If you like it, they like it, then there you go. Why are you so frustrating? Yeah, I do. I seen a post this morning, Mary, that says I miss um, America how she was or used to be. It's getting there. It's coming back slowly. Um, we're starting to see everyone getting out. We're starting to see things open up. And then we just need to get the right politicians in there. Um, they said, you know what gets me is the people that we're not looking at is those third world countries. And they're really, they can't put into this new Green Deal. There's just no way. I mean, how is um, a gentleman in Africa that's living in a tent or a box with his family out in the middle of nowhere supposed to go get a car or solar panels? You know, they're telling them, oh, you're not going to be able to cook on. Um, I seen this the other day, and it just really is so disheartening. They're saying that these African people or people in these third world nations, that if they try to use their own coal or if they try to uh, uh, fix meals over a fire, they're saying they can't do that. They have to put up a solar panel and go electric. Well, you're talking about people that are living in a box or in a tarp that can't afford nothing. And you're saying, well, so what? Go buy a car. Go buy, you know, if you want to save the world, go get a car, go get a panel. In fact, get a wind generator. And it's not working. It's not working. And they'll be the first ones to starve to death, I believe. And it's scary. I've helped so many over there in Africa that it's very scary. Um, So a number of people on the border, man, this is, and they're catching it on camera. Uh, there is a terror watch list, okay, and you know, they say conservatives are on it, but there was this guy named Esnardo Garcia Amato. Um, he was detained by Border Patrol. He was released by the border. Um, Basically a few weeks ago, um, before ICE even was able to scoop him up. And they do this a lot. Some of these don't trust all the Border Patrol and don't trust what the Democrats make them do. And so they put an ankle monitor on him. And so they sent him basically that he had to check in. Well, he wasn't. And not only that, but they ended up finding him in Pinellas County, Florida. And they wanted to know, how did he end up there? And every time they get rid of this guy, he comes back. And then all of a sudden, he's in different states in the country. And so now DeSantis is demanding an explanation of why DHS even released this guy. He is on a suspected terror list for the United States, and they check him out. That was my thing. Um, and they allowed him to live freely in Florida for weeks. Um, so you know, even Tom Homan, he said this never would have happened with him. But I say never now, you know, because things happen. And so here we have this terrorist guy that got through customs, got this ankle monitor, and released, and he keeps killing people, and so we deport him. And now they say they didn't mention that he's killed anyone yet. Um, So this is something that we need to if we're going to keep Title 42 in place, then we need to find a way to keep these terrorists out because they're walking over the border. And the thing that gets me, folks, is um, a platoon uh, of oh boy, this really is scary. Um, they were in camouflage, caught crossing into the U.S. from Mexico. It hasn't really said who they are, but they arrested at least, I heard, 4 groups of 32 migrants crossing the border, all in fatigues, folks, all in fatigues. Um, Here, I'm going to show you guys this. Okay, oops. You see that? Those are these guys. Let me look at those are fatigues. That's what these guys crossed the border in, and they said they were lined up like a platoon that was marching, but they were just walking, but walking in step. So there's four of these guys, four of these platoons that have come over the border in different areas. Um, well, Mary said we're being ambushed, but isn't this what I've been telling you guys? That these terrorists were coming over, and they're not going through border patrol. The last place they're going to do is go to the border. They're sneaking in, and thank God they caught these guys. And when they caught these guys, then they started flying helicopters around to see if there was any more, and that's when they found the three other platoons. So you're looking at 100, what, about 150 of these guys, and they're not saying where they're from. They're refusing. And of course, they'll be deported, maybe. But after hearing about the guy with the ankle monitor that just gets to stay here, are we going to put monitors on these platoons and let them loose? That right there is out and out saying there's an invasion happening. Um, so I didn't know if you guys had seen or heard about this yet, but this is very scary. Um, Wow. Yeah. You got to wonder where this administration's head's at, that allowing such um, uh, terrorist, whether it be this terrorist kid from Mexico or whoever, wherever he was from, or we're letting platoons in. Are we going to have to, is this administration and Mayorkas going to say, oh, turn those guys loose? We don't know. And I bet we'll never find out what happens to these guys. I'm hoping we got some people on the border that will let us know. They're not far enough over to Tijuana or San Diego where I got anybody that can watch them. So, yeah, they're letting this happen. Um, let's see. Um, oh, in New York City, the last two phone booths are being pulled down. They're going to be in I guess, like a museum, but it's the last two that's in America. The last two phone booths come down today. Not only that, you know what, guys? Just for the guys, you guys like them old muscle cars? Um, $1.32 million, the record-setting price for a rare 1969 Dodge Daytona, a one-of-a-kind model. It was sold at the auction, and they're saying these cars, um, um, which this guy, he said he picked up for $900. Now it's over $1 million. And they're saying these muscle cars are wanted right now. So if you got one sitting in the garage, or your husband does, tell him that you better get the car wax out, fix this thing up, and take it over to, what is it, Meekum? I think it's Meekum, the auction. I believe that's the name of it. And put that car up for $1 million. They say it features a Hemi V8 engine with a 4-speed manual transmission. Oh, and it has an 8-track player. Huh, boy. Um, so men, get those cars out there and get them sold. You might have one that you'll make $1 million off, and you bought it back in 1970 something for like $500. So, wow. Uh, I did tell uh, Tesla cars. Basically, the batteries are burning up. Be very careful if you do have one. Um, let's see. The Marine Corps California base put on lockdown, and this comes from Military Times. Um, the whole base. Um, it was due to shots fired at some of the Marine Corps. This is what's been confirmed. and the report was anonymous, and it was no immediate confirmation whether shots were actually fired or um, if it was training. But when they further investigated it, they did say that they did put the whole base on lockdown um, due to these shots being fired. And they didn't find anyone nor catch anyone. They said it was um, approximately 9 a.m. Local time, and the lockdown was listed a few hours later around noon. So somebody was firing shots. Now, Ukraine, moving over to Ukraine, they get Harpoon anti-ship missiles from Denmark. And they said this is to basically a blockade of the Black Sea against Russia. So they are sending over. We see that Denmark is will arm Ukraine with modern Harpoon and anti-ship launchers. Uh, the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Monday, after concluding the latest U.S.-led meeting of international defense, that they decided that this would be the best thing to send them at this time. They said the Russia's blockade of Odessa, they are now looking at owning both of the largest ports in the Black Sea. So now they're trying to work ways to give this army enough missiles to be able to get Putin to back off. So we'll be watching it over the next few days to see what happens with not only Odessa but Mariupol, uh, because they have the next port that's down there. So, all right, I know I have, um, before I forget about it, they have been, the Biden administration was managed to cut cost of living to the veterans when they first got in office. Well, it's been moving up the ranks of appeals. It now got to in the hands of a judge. And see, I was thinking, oh boy, Hillary Clinton judge, and which what he was. But he basically turned on the Democrats, making them very angry, and going ahead. And the military vets at this year, the end of this year, will be getting the cost of living. They said they're trying to push it for this year since it was stalled by the Democrat Party. So that's good news for um, military vets that were looking forward. Not only that, but I believe it's active duty also, um, that will get these cost of living increases. Um, okay. Biden is now thinking about dropping tariffs on with China. And this is something that the GOP and a lot of Democrat leaders are saying, oh, no, 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 don't do that. And it's almost like he's trying to, well, I'll do you favors since I have to be mean to you in the public. And that's what I'm seeing over and over and over again. Every time he says something that gets, that ruffles Jinping's feathers, it seems like Biden then comes back with, well, I'll let this slide, I'll let that slide, I'll drop this sanction, or we'll give business to you. And that's been going on for many years. Every time the Biden, or even back into Obama years, that this is how they played with China. Um, I don't know. I think they may have poked the bear too far. Because they're just not going to stand for us to put any boots on the ground in Taiwan. I believe that's when they're going to draw the line. Um, if you haven't noticed, your gas prices went up another 5 cents. From the last time I reported it last week till now, up another 5 cents. Get this, it is almost went It's went up 75% from last year for diesel fuel for the trucking industry. And just over the last few weeks, they're talking uh, between last week and the end of this month, it might even go up as much as $1. So, and what happens when we do that? Of course, our food prices are going to go up again. So many. Peter Schiff, if you guys ever watch him, not Schiff, not Shifty Schiff. This is a guy that he has done a lot of books and documentaries, and he's spot on with what we have been doing with China back and forth, back and forth. So, all right. Mark Milley warns uh, West Point graduates of war against China and Russia. So he went and he spoke to them, and he's getting them ready for war. Um, and this is odd because I never thought Mark Milley would do something like that. I always thought he was like, "Oh, don't look over there." But he made a big speech to West Point graduates on war that's going to happen. So I don't know, folks. Everybody keeps saying, "Do you know when? Do you know when?" No, I really, really don't. Um, um, oh, let's see. And Nancy Pelosi, have you seen her getting out there? She says she's going to rerun, but she's getting jumping in, and um, she has put, they say, at least $5 million into campaigns around the country for Democrats. One is down, I believe, in Georgia for a Democrat hopeful, she said. Not only that, even into Stacey Abrams' campaign. Did you guys hear what Stacey Abrams said? She was like, "This state is so horrible, and look at what's been done," and blaming it on the people she's running against. But all she did was made a perfect commercial for uh, the Trump rallies, because she was saying how horrible the country was, how horrible the state is, how horrible it is to live there. And not only did she bought 2 new houses, but to me, that's a perfect commercial for us, because uh, she's only saying what her own party has done to her own state. No one thought about it like that. When I first heard her say it, I was like, "Hey, yeah, tell what a horrible job that Biden is doing." So yeah, $5. Karen said 4.85 in Philly. They're pushing it to 5 before the end of next month. Well, actually, they're pushing for 10 by the end of the summer. That's why all them pumps were changing or putting stickers up for $10 a gallon, is because that's what's going to happen by the end of this. I think they want it in before Christmas. So think about that, or the holidays. They're going to stunt us on going anywhere for the holidays, or to pay $10 a gallon. Wow. Just, it wows me just to see anything that the Democrats do, that just to destroy the country, because so many people look to them to fixing for what they thought was horrible, and now they're seeing worse. Um, and back to Nancy Pelosi, she said that if she has anything to do with it, she's going to do away with public um, freedom of speech. That it's gone too far, and too many lies and misinformation is out there. So she's going to stick her nose in it, I guess. And not only that, Pelosi thumbs her nose at Archbishop, who banned her from communion. Now, I believe he has already spoken to a few platforms. I haven't heard him yet. Uh, but you know what? Um, Undo your communion like a big girl, Miss Pelosi, because a lot of that does happen. That does happen. Sometimes the priest, when you go into those little confessional booths, they'll say, "Oh no, you're not getting communion this week. You're going to feel bad, and you're going to say so many Hail Marys and Our Fathers, and I'm going to have you sitting there for 3 hours." Um, I don't know if you guys aren't Catholic, you probably don't understand any of that. But what they do is after you say your confession, then the priest usually gives you Hail Marys and Our Fathers to go out and sit and say them quietly in the church. I don't think that's going to help Nancy Pelosi, to be honest. I can't see her ever getting any better than evil. So, um, let's see. All right. Um, there is a judge that is with this abortion thing. Some of them are going to the states, and some are getting judges that just are being very fair about this and say, no, we're just going to do this right. But we need our legislatures to work on this. And some have already put it before the judges, and one that was passed because the judge is basically um, Clinton and Obama judges, and they're all for supporting what they need to. And so it really got me that they're running to get this in court when all they have to do is just take their signs and go home and be mellow and wait to see what happens with the states, because they're so lied to on this whole issue for them to protest. Um, so anyway, yeah, I agree with that. Um, um, yeah, a lot of them. Get this. Karen's talking about gas prices in chat. It's $6 and $7 a gallon in California and New York. I feel sorry for the people in California because a lot of them commute. They live in the suburbs or they live in cities that are a lot quieter, and they drive uh, 50 to 100 miles to get to work. And, there's no Flintstone cars out there for sure. Uh, and they don't even have enough of these electric stations yet for them to move that far or drive that far into the cities like San Francisco. Um, and this is concerning because now we're hearing a lot of where are these electric power stations going to be? And where are they? They're forcing us to get all the stuff that we need in cars and the batteries, and they want us to put the panels on our houses and all of that. But they're not even keeping up their end of the bargain just to put a power station for a car. And I told you last week, some people were in line going to be 8 hours to get their car filled up. I don't know who has that kind of time to get stuck there because so many people are there, and for some reason it started taking longer and longer for it to charge up. Um, so with that, folks, that is it for today. And like I said, if you didn't catch the weather, go on back. And if you got animals, um, this P wave is something that happens right before an earthquake hits. And I so now you know that your animals can feel those earthquakes. I only seen you in a what? Oh, you've only seen two in a 10-mile radius. I think I've seen it somewhere in town, but I couldn't tell you where it was. But what if you got to go, you're driving like these people in San Francisco, and you're driving a couple hours and then you got to do a couple hours home. Well, what if there is none? Then you're just stuck. You're just stuck. Poor planning on this administration to bring in electric cars. We do need them. I'm not putting the electric car down. I'm putting down that, for one, they didn't look at the battery issue. to where it's getting too hot. They didn't look at how many batteries you're going to need for some cars or even solar panels on your house. And not all of us can just drop uh, thousands of dollars to put the solar panels on our roofs. People on welfare can't afford that. People that lost their jobs can't afford that. And it's just getting more and more. All of this is coming out that maybe they didn't take this serious or serious enough. So, um, with that, subscribe and hit the like button and over there in Facebook, hit your follow. We've gained a few more over the weekend. We seem to gain a couple of viewers every few days, and we welcome them. And also, we thank all of our viewers for watching. Uh, I think you guys are great. You guys send me the funniest stuff. Um, I'll crack a joke and you guys send me stuff back, and uh, also your concerns, things you get mad at, saying, "Oh, how come you don't do this story?" Um, and I said, I didn't even see it, but I'll get it on there tomorrow. So that's our viewers, and I think they appreciate me. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. There is no show tonight, but there are two tomorrow. Um, I already got the weather report in, and so tomorrow actually be three shows. I will be doing the weather an hour before the news show. So if you want to catch it, and I'm going to do it live. I know I was talking about recording and then putting it out there. It's going to come real easy for me to do about an hour before the show. Um, so it will be live, and you guys can come in and ask questions. And as we move closer to hurricane season, be safe. Start making, if you live in Florida or around the Gulf, be prepared. Be prepared. So, and we got a lot of new videos for the ends of all of our shows now too. So with that, I will see you guys tomorrow. God bless, and Mary, go eat that cake for me. Bye bye, folks.